Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I was just driven to note the passing of Brother Reggie Saafir Gibson. I pray I'm getting his name correctly. I am not familiar with his artistry as a rapper. I am quite familiar with the unnatural passing of so many rappers due to health issues. There's also ones who unfortunately have been taken out prematurely due to violence. And with brother, that indeed was his full name, Reggie Saafir Gibson. What really propelled me to do this, just yell again, is the numbers of rappers. There's so many who have been taken out, and then there are just other artists, and those are the ones who are going to have obituaries that I can find. But the soaring rates of cancer, they're throwing out every single excuse in the world. What I find telling is the fact that they never, ever, ever mention the radiation. So this brother, Reggie Saafir Gibson, forgive my any cell phone sounds, that kind of happens from the notifications, but my apologies about that. It's that he had a tumor removed from his spine, and it must have been centrally located so that removing it impacted his ability to walk. He was immediately just stuck to a wheelchair. I don't want to put it in that terminology because I'm inspired by those who, no matter what events happen to them, really, really terrible things sometimes, they manage to find the joy in life and keep their just will to trudge ahead and upwards. That's incredible. But it was that he had surgery on his spine, a cancerous tumor removed. And he lived on the Bay Area. I get the impression that this is something that just happened to him, where he had a cancerous tumor removed a couple of years back, and he was known as a Bay Area rapper, even though he was living in Oakland at the time of his demise. So I had a brother wonderful brother, who had put the, aspect of vaping out there for me. He wasn't even trying to question my usual advocacy. But because they're giving so many excuses for this upsurge in all the things that radiation causes, as a matter of fact, let me show you. Right here, it's a 68,000% increase in strokes, as FDA and NIH secretly study reports of neurological injuries after COVID-19 vaccines. The brother who sent me the article on vaping, it's the internet, and so there's no faces that you put with your comments. I automatically assumed that maybe he was trying to show me a different reason for the health impacts that everyone is suffering from. And I said to him in response, and he's a good brother, so I didn't speak, like I didn't call him out his name or anything like that. But I had said that nobody's explaining the epic die-off by the billions that started in the Pacific. And there's other regions where you can see a semblance of die-off, but it is all parallel to the rise in the building of nuclear power plants and polluting specifically European and American areas with these, they're just friggin' slow release nuclear bombs. And they cause every single malady because they break down the substance of material matter, organic or inorganic. It doesn't matter the species. And so that's what I had told the brother with the vaping is that all of these animals dying in the Pacific Ocean, they weren't vaping. They've even started warning hunters no longer to eat the wild game. Deer are not vaping. And then the brother came in later and said, no, I was just thought that since you're into the environment and all the rest of that, I wanted you to see this information. And I just like, oh, okay, all right. But what I'm still, it's applicable because I think the onus, the burden of realizing that my warning is backed by complete data feels a little bit onerous, where people know once you realize, like if you could blame vaping, then you could just look and say, well, I'm sorry for the children, but at the same time, we're going to lose the knuckleheads. That's just going to happen. But when you realize that, no, this is a covert, extremely well hidden genocide, then you realize that we each have a responsibility. We can no longer just sit comfortably with our, laissez-faire type of, well, it's not my problem. Yes, it is, because the FDA is allowing in all food from Fukushima. They said they will no longer give alerts. That doesn't mean that they're going to be testing the food and determining if it has, no radiation. It just means that they're going to let it in. They're not going to let us know about it. I'm sure the big wigs up top, they're going to find out which foods have the most radiation and which ones don't, right? I had showcased in my last video that I put a comment on Daily Mail where I was like, how come nobody ever mentions Japan and Fukushima? I didn't even say Fukushima. I said the F word, but I don't mean the profane one. And the comment was utterly removed. It was about Gary Sinise announcing he has cancer. And so that's my point, is when it comes to Brother Saafir, and a very handsome brother, I must add. I just want to put that out there. And my condolences to his family. And my ashe. I'm trying. We don't know specifically what happened, and that's why they love radiation as a genocide. And that's what makes it different. I recognize there are other toxins. I am not pro jabberoonie dooney. No, I'm not. Right? I'm just saying in terms of the volume, the magnitude of toxicity. Radiation is millions, billions of times more disastrous for life itself because it's deadly on a one atom basis. And that one atom can remain deadly for upwards of hundreds of billions of years. And so in the books that I've read, there was a general who said the unique factor about radiation is that eventually it wipes out the entire species. It wipes it out. So even with the jabberoonie dooney, see, you saw how ridiculously they were pushing that to black us, right? We were the ones who got it the least. But it was just like, really? You're offering us even marijuana? Free marijuana, free donuts, free all sorts of stupid crap. We'll give you a cab ride. Spike Lee was out there doing a commercial for it, showing an elder sister getting into a taxi. That's so when the die-off from the radiation and then it impacts every other toxin that they're hurling at us. When that gets started, and it's already started, it's in full swing, okay? We'll blame just like with the Jabberoonie Dooney thing. All the strokes, 68,000% increase in strokes, but we didn't get all of that stuff like they wanted us to. And that's how you don't look for the remedies. Does Spike Lee or any of these friggin' celebrities know what they've signed up for? No, more than likely not. Because the way, reading Rosalie Bertell, another nuclear physicist's book, the way they figure they get away with it is because they want to make stupidity the culture, the prevailing culture. And so they can then justify, well, they wouldn't have understood if we had explained it in the first place. But in the meantime, it's not accidental what they're doing. It's deliberate, it's focused, it's targeted, it's genocide. Right? So we need our food tested. I want to do the testing because I realize, like, you know, if and when folks realize that, we need to fund that sister because she's been consistent all the way through, year after year after year after year. Right? Even though they shadow ban her, she hasn't changed her subject matter just so she can stay popular. Because that's another weakness of ours they take advantage of. So we need our food tested. I want to do the testing. I didn't even know that was possible. But there's these Japanese housewives in Japan testing their food for radiation because they know something's up. They in the article, the way they were describing it, I realize I know more than they do. Okay? We got to get out of this notion that just because you're black, everybody else is smarter than us. No, they're not. They're all going along with genocide just based on stupidity. When you go into a court of law and you've been accused of a crime, ignorance is not an excuse. Okay? I heard a Chinese person say in one of, like, I watch so many Chinese videos, but they said in an avalanche, no snowflake is innocent. I was like, that's a good one. Okay? We cannot just participate in obliteration willy-nilly because real people are dying. Real people. And I knew when I started this, I said, this might not, me doing this might not work out, but at least I don't feel guilty about it. I didn't keep my mouth shut when the data screamed what was going on. Right? And so, assist me in getting the warning out because there are things we could do to get the radiation out. So there's so many things that I didn't used to do just out of deep honor and respect, but I'm realizing, I'm gonna get you killed if I keep on being nice. Now, I don't mean sane. Sane's a whole nother level, okay? And I mean sane in a submission to the Most High, right? I mean just like not acknowledging, not just admitting what I do and what I've done. It's a rescue. It's a rescue. Every book, even the novels, I write them so that they're grippingly exciting, so that I can share a warning to save our lives in a manner that will interrupt this culture of stupidity that they've deliberately driven us all to embrace. Because I remember hip-hop used to be like, whoa, you could get some real facts out of that. But right now, all you could get is some real just, what, huh? What are we calling each other? What are we doing? Right? What are we celebrating? Shooting each other? No, okay? I'm just saying. Right? And so, the furnace book, though, That was to save me from having to describe every single time all the different remedies that my tireless research has found. Right? I'm not. Woo! I don't know why anybody would seek notoriety of any sort whatsoever. It is I don't want to say it's not a hell of a thing, because doing it for you, that's sublime. That's sublime. But the just difficulty of it is like not something that a sane person would want to just like run after. Oh yeah, I need that. I don't need that. I'm real happy the way I am. But I know what's at stake. I know how beautiful you are. And I want to help us to continue that forever. So again, my condolences and my ashe. I'm so sorry. I love you. Share the warning, leave comments, hit like, all that stuff. I don't even want to say that right now, but once again, if it helps, then that's really life-saving, okay? Go to 25,000yearcycle.org and get what needs to be done. Peace and blessings.